as we speak, we're creating trees and sounds. That's why the old languages had a lot of richness in the sound, because you explore where does it go. So eventually you find the one particular meaning for that word. That's why the Arabic, Sanskrit, all of these have got this richness. So it conjures up in your mind so many images, and then it zeroes down on the particular one as relevant. So all of these emanate from the same source. And for the few billions of years that we have this so-called life on Earth, same thing has happened. It's like trees emanating with branches and so on, and from the same materials, sun, water, whatever, different flowers emerge, different fruits emerge. All of that beauty, perfume, and all of that, its root is in the root, with darkness, no light, and earth. We don't see the unitive and amazing inseparability of what's happening in the root and what's happening in the fragrance. It's inseparable, seamlessly connected. And there are many different strands that we can follow to see that unitive totality. I think the most universal and perhaps the easiest, and therefore also not so easy, is the moment, the instant, the now. So everyone, everything that's alive is obsessed with life. And that means now. You know, you lose it now, you lost it all. So it is only in the moment, and it's perpetual, and it's continuous, and it's eternal. And we all fear is severance. Fear is because of that losing that which can never be lost. Life cannot be lost. It's itself. Life knows life is ever alive. But once I've identified myself with my identity, with a birth and a death and the dualities in it, millions of dualities, which makes the so-called personality. I like this, I don't like this. So once I've identified with that entity is within space and time. Therefore, as much as it's dependent on time, it also can be severed because it's hanging onto it. It's not in it. It is not timelessness itself or life itself. So all of our human endeavors, from the point of birth, point of death, and before that, in patterns, and after that also in patterns or in what you call destiny, is to do with the infinitude of life or now. Now is infinite, but it's sliding. So if I don't slide with it, I also get incumbent. If I don't move with time, and if you look at whatever is desirable of human habits, is to do with being in the now. So, you know, they didn't quite get the story. They were not fully, and. So the more you are in the now, the more you are alive, because life is forever, and you and I are alive temporarily. But the more you're in the now, the more you are. So even as a human, if you're really in it, the moment of death, instead of riding on your legs, you're riding on the wings of your ruh. There is no fear, no sorrow, no. So it is sliding with the now. That's really the most important issue. Now, if you look at so many of our habits that we have got that. What is this idea of modernity or fashion unless to do with the now. Oh, this is the old fashion. No more. Now that it's gone. Nor also you want to be somewhere very odd, It's not yet fashionable. That's very odd. But if it becomes fashionable, then you are in it because it's in the now. All of our habits, you see. So, and we want contentment now. So at no point to patience. That's why they say patience is bitter. I want it now. I want contentment now. I want to be healthy now. I want to be tranquil now. All what I know is now. Don't tell me the all. It's a historical thing. Nor the future. So if you are in the now, then you have no regrets or whatever goes with it of the past, nor are you anxious or over concerned about the future. You're in the now. And that is what transmits, talking about this book of transmission. That's what transmits. Now is the only thing that transmits. The past may give you a bit of a smell, a bit of a flavor, which you remember, trace, or an indicator of the future, but all what we have is now. The more you are in the now, the more you are recalibrated at all of the different levels, at the physical, material, body, and emotion, feeling, thought, all of them. The more it calibrates itself, and you then naturally give it more attention. Because we have these countless needs. The need to rest the body, to allow the toxins to come out, to allow replenishment, to allow this, and on and on and on. But if you touch base more with the now, you will know where it is out of balance or out of sync. You suddenly find, no, I need to pay more attention to my social needs. So you start caring and and also connecting. Or silence, just replenishment. Whatever. So by touching this most powerful, the essence of it all, which is only in the now, you will slide along it into the infinity of it. Because now is forever. Next moment appears to be next. Because in truth, there is no time. So it's ever continuous, ever instant, ever perpetual, ever eternal. Not in space and time. So we are in the nursery of space and time in order to realize the magnificence from which this nursery had emerged, which is perpetuity, which is eternity. Once you begin to realize that everything that in space and time has its roots before space and time and its destiny after space and time, then it becomes clear. Then you have no fear anymore of any what you consider to be a shock. A shock means you're not along the flow of space and time in itself. You're along a certain aspect of space and time, a certain manifestation of space and time, or a flavor of space and time. So you get shocked, you see. That's why this morning we were talking about when suddenly if you have somebody whom you really loved and so on, and they suddenly come to you and say, he's dead. So, oh no, that means it's not true. When you say no, that means dead, I can't accept. I can't accept you going anywhere. It's not true. So it is in our inner nature to deny falsehood. So death is another falsehood. If you think it's terminal. Terminal what? In what? In only the illusion of space and time. When did the last moment end and the next one come about? Where is that point in between them? Can you give me same thing with space? Also, where is that middle space? You can never get it. The more you try to get it, until you have to bomb it out. You have to slice the atom because you have to break the atom. Because where is the middle? So then you have moved from identity of the atom to its reality, which are the energies that makes it. So there is, in truth, in that which is constant, eternal, non-changing, perpetual, there is no space nor time. It's our nursery, it's the womb. So we have to accept its limitation, and that's Islam. It's acceptance. Accept the limitations of whatever you can think or do or undo. It's boundaries. You accept the boundaries. Within those boundaries is the nursery in which we touch every now and then upon a point of timeless now, not a moving now. The moving now is experienced biologically, physiologically, chemically, physically, all of that. But it's not good enough. You're never content with it. You will only be content when you transcend the idea and the illusion of contentment and lack of contentment. Contentment and its opposite is the gymnastics we have to play in this realm. Acceptable, unacceptable. This is love, this is hate. This is conducive, this is not. On and on and on. This is the nursery. Until such time you have had enough of those exercises. You want to know, what does it mean? Why do you exercise? So that you can transcend it. So that you touch upon its essence, which is no more now, no more past, no more future. You have jumped in the trampoline of now into nowlessness, into boundlessness, which is the nature of truth and existence. Everything has emanated from the absolute, or what you may term as the constant. Absolute, constant, gives rise to the relative and the changing, and that's where we are. So it is an ascent, so to speak. We are ascending, if you like, along the ladder of consciousness, from very basic, very physical. That's why we have to maintain life. You have to, no option other than doing your best to be alive, then to be healthy, meaning in homeostasis, meaning breathing in, breathing out. You're hanging between illness and wellness, in between. Until such time you zero more and more on that point of balance of in between, and that middle of it, where there is a touch of the up and touch of the down. So you will be afflicted by what is acceptable or not. You will feel what is good and what is bad, but it doesn't overwhelm you anymore. So, well, obviously, individually they abuse themselves, collectively they abuse themselves, and that culture or that kingdom is wiped out. Perfectly understand. And the next one, whatever comes, is better. And the one after is even better, because it has been nourished on the manure of the dead one. So that dead culture, that dead civilization was, if you like, the fertile ground upon which this new hybrid of a flower grew. So that is why an immense speed of rise can be observed by us, especially at our age, where there's mass communication and ease of comparing, connecting. So you see there is enormous speed in the rise of consciousness. And 1,000 years ago, it was very much a matter of survival. So therefore, there was very much a matter of enmity. Who is snooping? Whose sheep had come across the border? It's not our sheep, you know. And then, so then you begin to learn that more and more cooperation rather than competition. But in cooperation also, there is an intrinsic aspect of competition. I am cooperating better than the other. There's less of me than the other. So that they are ever together. If there's cooperation, there is competition. But you need to look how it appears. It appears in selflessness. It appears in losing it all by being at one with the source that gains it all, and so on. So the issue of the sliding, flying with the now is a necessary function for supra state of replenishment and health. And that has not been taught. It turned into structured religion, hierarchical, and became much more of a ritual than a nourishment, than something that each one of us benefits. We are at an age that everybody wants it for themselves, which is fine. So you will find that the more you are in this instant, not a minute ago, not a second ago, the more you are on that, the more you are at source. And all what there is the source. We then give it also some special attributes of sacredness, of worshipable, sanctity, all of these names. And because we are in the middle, transient between the absolute and the very, very relative, so we try to create places of worship. We give them sanctities. And because we are in space and time, so we also, you need a place and a time for the pilgrimage together. So that symbolizes also you disappearing in that time, in that space. But be careful, don't ever be caught in Kaaba, especially if you are one of the governors who every now and then the people in Saudi Arabia take them for the most, if you like, honored situation. They take them into the Kaaba to wash it. And it happened that once one of the people whom I knew actually, he was a bit lingering behind. They closed the door and he was inside. So don't ever be caught inside. Go to the place of worship at the time of worship and realize that this symbolizes what we are after. What we are after is that which is not in space and time, but every space, cosmically, and every time ever emanates from it. That's it. This is the way the young, educated, intelligent, reflective people regard existence and the puzzle of it. Space and time, now. So there you are. And then we express to show where we are on that scale. We express it by making noise.
I think it's Helen.
Huh?
Helen.
All right.
I think it must be Helen.
That's it. Yes, it is. That's it. Perfect timing.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Ellen. Hello.
I left outside. I phoned
Should I stop?
Oh my goodness, who finally came for you?
Fawcett came back from White River.
Okay.
I phoned.